This UCSD TV program is presented by University of California Television. Like what you learn? Visit our website or follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the latest programs.
Rossini's music demands a certain specificity. It is so sort of metered and so particular and precise that you really are doing a disservice if you're sliding all over the place and being general rather than specific.
This is an extremely detailed production, acting-wise, singing-wise, of course, as well, because it's Rossini. But the acting, and especially in the comedic moments that then complement the Rossini. And so it's difficult at times, but then once it's ingrained in you, it becomes a part of you and a part of your character. And then again, like I said, it's like a big circle. It complements Rossini's music. It deepens the performance for the audience and for us as well.
As a director, you really can do extraordinary things if you use the music as the kind of underpinning of the comedy.
Everything has meaning and purpose, and then the music happens because of the action, instead of us reacting to the music.
There's a darkness to this story that equally is set to music. Not only do we have the fun and bubbly parts very specifically directed, we also have the really nasty parts, like some of the violence and the chasing of Cinderella by the father is all set very specifically to music. Fairy tales feel a certain way on the page and then something completely different on stage, which is fantastic. It means that you can be both faithful but also original in the way that you present the production.
People want the Disney version often. But this particular one is a Dickensian, Victorian take on the story, and all the fun, all the comedy springs out of the darkness and the situational comedy.
You know, Rossini was a natural humorist. He was a natural sitcom writer, and so that's what we're looking at.
Cinderella, in my view, she's a warrior. I think she's a humble warrior. Has an innate wisdom about her, an innate sense of character and who she is, even though her circumstances are not ideal, far from ideal. But that's ingrained in her, and she follows that and is able to then sustain her circumstances with that inside of her. And I think she's funny and she's happy, and despite or in spite of her life. She's far more three-dimensional, of course, than the Disney character.
Don Ramiro is the prince, and he has a little more background than the Disney prince that we know about, because he arrives to the home of Don Magnifico in disguise as a valet or as a servant, and he's looking for the right girl. And he has heard that she is there in this house, in Don Magnifico's house, and that she will be the right one for him. And when he meets Cenerentola, Angelina, he definitely knows that she is that one. And unfortunately, he doesn't know that she's a servant. And so he tries to win her throughout the opera. And the hard part is because she's not of either nobility or she is a servant and not actually the daughter of Magnifico, he's unable to take her hand until he knows that he can.
The way Rossini wanted to set it meant that the stepmother figure is now a stepfather, and the fairy godmother figure is a fairy godfather. Alidoro is not a fairy godfather, I guess mentor and guide to the prince, but also to Cinderella.
Alidoro is the main instigator of the whole plot. He's the one who finds Cinderella, and he's the one who comes up with the idea of the prince and his servant exchanging identities in order to uncover the true nature of the inhabitants of that house where Cinderella lives. He is the prince's tutor, so he is a wise man, a well-studied man, and of course, because of the nature of the story, he also has some magical powers, and in this production they are used very judiciously. I have brought up princes and aristocracy, and I have seen their characters develop, but I've decided this particular prince is very close to my heart. And also something immediately locks between me and Cinderella when our eyes first meet.
I think I would have to say my favorite moment in La Cenerentola is Alidoro's aria in the middle of the first act, where he points out that Cenerentola's goodness is going to be rewarded, which is the other title of the opera, The Triumph of Goodness.
The family, if you don't have fun with the family, what's the point of the whole show? And again, it's not played for laughs. The laughs come from the situation. They actually, they're so ridiculous that you can't but laugh at them. And very often I look at them and then I look at the audience. Look at what she's wearing. Is that what you're wearing for the party? Without of course saying it, but it reads that way, or at least that's the subtext.
I think my character, who is Clorinda, she's not exactly the smartest bulb on the tree, so to speak. She's real cute, though. We're still trying to decide who's going to have the unibrow or the blacked out tooth.
Yeah, they're going to play with that today.
I'm vying for the blacked out tooth.
I rock a mean unibrow.
But I think she's definitely, very self-involved, very whiny, very bratty. So I think she's never going to grow up until maybe the end of the show. We'll see.
And Tisbe, I think Tisbe is a little bit older, probably not by much, but she's a little bit of the leader of a pack. I push her around a little bit, and my vying for attention from our horrible father is, I think, a little more aggressive. I'm a little more vindictive in how I go about it. And the thing about these girls, though, is that they are, they're ridiculous, and they're in a way a caricature, but they have a reason for why they are the way they are, and they're just on the precipice of having nothing. They're hanging on by a thread, and they can see that their only way out of where they are is to marry this prince and to get into the castle, to have everything in their life taken care of. And their other option is to remain where they are or worse, and there's a lot of desperation involved in their behavior. So it is funny, but there is an impetus behind it.
Yeah, definitely desperation.
Yes. I've got to add a little shout out for Stefano Di Peppo, who's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and he plays our father, Don Magnifico. And he is one of the funniest people on stage ever. And to watch someone who's such a brilliant singer be so funny, sing so well, and in his native language, and see what he does with the text and with his gestures, and it's just it's a masterclass in comedy in Italian opera.
Prego bellissimo di questa anche più malaga si prego bellissimo di questa anche più malaga si anche più malaga si prego bellissimo anche più malaga si
The chorus is incredibly important in this piece. Within each of the chorus people, they each have an individual role as a Londoner, whether they're a working girl or a butcher or a chimney sweep or I don't know, something, some other crazy character. And then they're all part of the prince's retinue of servants. And I have to, again, with the contemporary references, we've channeled Downton Abbey a bit with our lineup of servants who each have very strong personalities. And of course, Rossini wrote only male chorus roles. So if you look hard, or actually not very hard at all, you'll find that some of the ladies in the chorus are hirsute. And yeah, we've had a lot of fun with turning the chorus of gorgeous San Diegan men into some seriously plain girls. Movement is very important in this production. The chorus movement needs to be very synchronized and very tight. I have a movement background myself. I used to be a dancer. It needs drilling. It's very important that it looks accurate and specific, not floppy. And so it's been really helpful to have Bernadette here with, just really drilling the chorus and making sure that the dance movements are specific, not not general, because it's been quite a fast rehearsal period, and that's been it's essential to have more eyes on it than just me. So it's been great having Bernadette with me.
My role in this opera is to help assist with Lindy, who is the director. I'm helping her as kind of an assistant choreographer. So what I'm doing is I'm setting movement that she has already created on the chorus and on the principals and soloist singers. And my job is to make it look as seamless as possible. The biggest thing right now is I'm not working with dancers, which is the type of person I usually work with, so that's a little different. But I'm actually very impressed with how quickly these men have picked up this material. It's not typical dance that the audience will witness. It's going to be more comical, characterized dance that they're going to be able to see on stage. And I think the biggest difference between the comical dance versus regular dance is that it's overly exaggerated. So usually a dancer will kind of be a little bit more elegant about how they hold themselves, whereas comical will be just to the extreme, extending their lines a bit more and just kind of, and I don't want to say poking fun at it, but being a little lighter, a little happier about their movement, and just going above and beyond what a true classical dancer would probably do.
Good. A real 16th note, a real 16th note. Bum, bum. I think Rossini's music is a little bit like this fantasy car, which has a German engine, all this incredibly knowledgeable harmony and structure and architecture, but it has an Italian body. It has all this beautiful melody, and nobody knew the human voice better than Rossini, and he knew how to shape a melody. And I think it's this combination of structure and beauty that makes the opera so fantastic. I think the important thing about conducting opera is making the cast and the orchestra a family. When we come together, we're kind of like gypsies, and we kind of gather at a river, and we bring all of our tribe together. And sometimes we have a very short period to put together an opera. But I think the important thing is having every voice heard, listening very carefully to the singers, making sure that they're comfortable. I usually tell singers at the first rehearsal that I'm like a very high-class tailor, and the first rehearsal is not for me to demand that they perform in a certain way, but for us to kind of get to know each other, for me to take their fittings, so we can then tailor-make the opera for them. You want to do one more time from, it would be 1 bar 29, 129, exactly. Especially in an opera like a Rossini opera or a Handel opera, the orchestra needs to hear what the singers are doing. So we become one, and that is really my mission, to get everybody on the same page and be together, and everyone rowing in the same direction.
We each see ourselves in these characters. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that you get to glean something from watching this opera. And then also you get these incredible Rossini melodies. And then you get to create something beautiful on stage and close your eyes and listen and then watch something that's in Technicolor. And you get a chance to walk away from your troubles, walk away from the world, walk away from the events, and have your own event.
The world's a pretty messy place right now, and this is a really nice escape and a reminder that the ugliness in the world, under all of that, is real goodness.
There is beauty.
Still.
And it's music. It's opera.